Welcome back. We are in Ypsilanti, Michigan for the second race of the MICX, the MICX Cyclocross Race Series in Southeast Michigan. We're once again doing the 30-minute men's novice race. Smaller field today than there was last week at Crank Cross. There we had about 30 people. Here I think we're about 15 or so. Maybe, I think 15. 15 sounds right. So about 15 people in this race. A couple of the men who beat me in the last one are not here. So, for the 6-race series, good opportunity to make up some points. But a couple of people who did beat me, 4th and 5th place of last week, are here as well. So my focus is going to be good hard start, be at the front. But if someone is significantly stronger than I am, not try to chase them down. Try to stay within myself, pace myself a little bit better so I don't blow up, and try to finish ahead of some of those individuals who beat me last week after I blew up. So we'll talk through the course on the first lap here. This course, still some technical features, but definitely better suiting my abilities than last week. No massive big climb, not as many technical switchbacks. So, all right, so we started. Once again, not the best start from me. 2 people beat me off the gun. I'm gonna have to make up those positions back here. So, through the first turn, in 3rd place. 4th place is right there too. So here I pass one guy before we go, come in and really cut off the other guy as well. So now I can be at the front. Coming down, I'm going to jump off the bike. Instead of trying to power through this, I'm going to carry the bike back up and jump back on. Able to do that pretty cleanly. I'll do that through the first couple laps. Took a different approach in the final lap there that we'll talk through. But all right, here's did exactly what I needed to. So through the first technical aspect and in 1st place, a little bit of a gap, so people are gonna have to work a little bit to get back to me, and feel good with this. Now I can kind of set my pace and try to play defensively. Alright, so there's 2 spots on the course, this being one of them, where it's not a huge climb, but it's one of these spots that is deceptive, and if you don't push hard enough, definitely a spot where people can make up ground on you, and I think you saw that there for a second. I didn't push as hard as I probably could have. And then the second one is right here. And here I push pretty hard, go in the 500, 600s, up to the 700s, and you see both people behind me make up quite a bit of ground on me. At the end of the day, I weigh 205 pounds, significantly heavier than probably both of these guys. And I got to push a little harder up those hills. I did see him coming and kind of could feel it and played a little bit of defense to make sure that I could still stick with that first position. All right, so then we come into the first bit in the woods. This is really just a kind of a gravelly 2-track. I stick to the dirt on the side for most of it, and then pop into the center. So you can have a lot of speed here. You can put down, but when it comes to the end, which it's about to, there's a really hard hairpin turn, really loose mud, so you have to make sure you slow down and don't carry that speed right through here. So we'll see that here. And I'm able to handle that pretty well. Now we're going to see this guy in a U of M long sleeve shirt fly by, or pass me, maybe not fly by me, but he takes the lead, and you're going to see he just goes from here on out. In fact, I take the lead back on him, so ignore me for a second. I promise you he will take the lead, and he will be gone. But I was able, he took a different line than I did. In the course recon, really realized that that far right line through the water was really the fastest. Jason had highlighted that during his race, that he found that line was good. And so this is a case where I took a good line, he took a poor line. I was able to get back into the 1st place. But here's such a wide area that there's no defense you can really play. He has plenty of room to go around me once he gets his kind of grip back on with the tires. He's able to pass me easily. And now he's just gone. This guy was, from a power fitness standpoint, just way head and shoulders above. So here still doesn't look too bad in terms of where he's at, but she's just gonna be gone. On the flat stuff, he just gets, puts his head down and pedals away. So, all right, so we came through that tiny little narrow bridge that went over the river or the creek. That you definitely, I had to hit my brakes and really slow down. There's a little bit of a rut right afterwards. You got to hop over. So that's a little tricky spot. But now through here, I was excited that it said that it went through the woods through single track. Kind of harkening back to Lafrosse Cross last year, that went through some single track, but that was like real mountain biking type single track with a cool climb. You had to carry the bike up. This is the very flat, very smooth single track, not technical at all. Which I don't have great technical skills, so it was okay from my perspective to have that. But to me, it wasn't as sold. I was thinking it was gonna be super technical single track, and it just wasn't. But I use this as a spot to, not go super hard, be able to recover a little bit. You can see I bounce between the low 200s and the low 300s. So not anything, super high. I'm not trying to gain ground here, really just recovering. You can see the guy in front of me is gone, and we got one guy now kind of catching up behind me. I probably, in hindsight, should have used this as an area, especially with, I realized how short the course ended up being, only about 25 minutes. Instead of 30, I could have pushed harder and created more gaps, made it harder for people to pass me. But this guy catches back up, but not going to pass me here. We come up with a little bridge, pop back down, and we're going to pop back out of the woods. So that's all the single track we have here. Again, pretty flowy, pretty flat, no roots, pretty easy ride through here. But he's back right on my tail. Okay, so we pop back out of the grass here. We're going to come around, and we're going to have the next technical feature, which is going to be a hairpin with two barriers to jump over, so they're not right in a line. You got to run with your bike for a bit. I didn't know if I should carry my bike, put the bike back down on the ground, and roll with it. Different people had sort of different perspectives there. But here we come into it, jump off, go here, run around, jump back over, and jump back on the bike. Got back on somewhat quick. I think my remounts later were a little bit better than this one, but it was okay. So now we turn left. We're going to go into this gravel section. Able to kind of get back on the power a bit. Put the pressure on the people behind me. Again, you can't see the guy in front of me at all anymore. Come back onto this hay for the grass. And then we're going to see this guy passes me. He tries to pass me here. Let's see. There I stood up because I didn't want him to be able to get away from me, so I tried to start putting some power down and going up a hill on a corner. Bad time to stand up. Lost the traction of my back wheel and slipped up a bit there. But all right, so we're coming through to this straightaway. Once we've been through a couple things here, nothing again very technical at all. There, this becomes a straightaway. All we're gonna do is do a U, and that's the start-finish line off to our left here, and that's gonna be the first lap. Race is gonna end up being 3 laps long. We had gone into this race thinking they told us it should be 4 laps, and the communication I didn't think was great. That may have been just because I was redlining the whole time, and so I didn't see it. Honestly, I don't even. I never see the lap counter, so that could be on me. But I think they used a bell to say it's the last lap, but there's a bunch of cowbells out there, so it all just sounds the same. I don't know. All right, so currently I'm in 3rd place. This guy is he's dangling quite a bit in front of me. I'm not making up any ground on him here, and you can see. A little bit of ground being made up with the guys behind me. So come through. I'm once again going to jump off. That one I think was a little less smooth than the first one. But get back up. Again, I think I could have ran another step or so to jump back on. To not be a little bit still uphill. But, all around not too bad. Didn't lose a bunch of ground to the people behind me. So, So it's okay, but losing ground to the person in front of me, I think for sure. Okay, we're winding through here, and we're going to come back to those two hills that we talked about before. Really, again, somewhere in between a hill and a false flat. Nothing crazy, but again, being a little heavier. A spot where people can make up ground if I don't push hard enough. And so we're going to see that right here on this first one. Guy had a bit of distance, and boom, right on my wheel. And so we're going to turn, and we're going to come back to another one here. And again, part of it is that I'm not pedaling. You can see I'm at 0. That's on me, again, trying to recover, use some spots to recover. But once again, I start climbing. I need to put the power down a little bit sooner to carry the momentum. And we see this guy, again, try to pass me. And I just kind of play a little bit defensively, push back into the ribbon so he can't pass me. And we're going to be going right back into that gravel single track. Right now, 2 guys in front of me, and we have 1 guy on my tail. You can't see anybody else behind me right now. So, doing pretty well. Fighting for the podium. Once again, I'm not sure what the right route would have been through here. I liked the dirt to the left side versus the loose gravel, so that's where I stayed. This guy kind of stayed more in the middle. It looked like he was going to pass me, but I kind of popped into the center right at the right time. I'm not sure I knew that he was there, but it worked out. Alright, so tight corner again. Yep, and right there this time, the second time, I took it fine in terms of speed, but my my foot unclipped, so that definitely slowed me down a bit, but not enough to make it so this guy's going to pass me. Once again, I'm going to take that far right lane. And now you can see where the other guys are at. So now you can easily see 3 people behind me. But again, took a good line, got good separation. They're going to have to work hard to get back to me, so that works out. This mud was rough there. I think I took it fine the first time. This time went pretty slow through it, and you can see this guy passes me. Again, very different than Creek Cross. Creek Cross was very narrow lanes. Crane Cross, I think, had some wider lanes, but this one is just wide open. So some good spots for people to pass, and a lot less ability to play defense in some of these spots I found. Which for me, Creek Cross, the whole time I felt like all I did was play defense. I wasn't going particularly hard, and it was more about keeping people behind me. Here, you really do have to, have the power to keep people behind you because there's so many spots to pass. So now in 4th place, but gonna jump back in front of this guy going into the woods, and kind of just dueling it out here. Again, the stuff coming up does have some good spots to be a little more defensive, and so good to get in front of him before all this. Okay, so riding through the single track, and this guy is right on my tail, and he's finally had enough of me. He's gonna decide to go around me here in a second. Has a great burst, just flies right by me here. So, he'll try to go, I think, once by me. I kind of pivot so he can't. Probably not on purpose, but once there's a lane, you're gonna just see him just fly by. And I'm not, but here I'm going pretty easy. So right there, that's where I went to 0 watts, and he went to go around me, but when I got my traction back, kind of stopped him. But right when we turn this corner again, I'm at 500 watts, and he just flies by me. So great acceleration by him, huge gap. So he ends up going around me. I'm back now in 4th place. Now there's 3 guys up in front of me. We're gonna see throughout this lap, the gap doesn't really increase with him. It I kind of keep him, relatively speaking, within striking distance. When I come here, now you can see there's a guy, 1 guy behind me, 1 guy further back. So, this is one of these things, I think I played it right in terms of, I started hard to make sure I was in first, try to stretch the field, and then kind of over time, you know, people do catch back up. They do pass me. You know, could I go a little less hard and be in second, third position, and maybe be the one catching them? I don't think so. I really don't. I think, you know, maybe that's a different way to do it and slowly make up ground over time. But I don't know. I think this was good pacing by me, I guess is my way to say it. You know, make people chase back onto me. We got through the barriers. You got a guy right on my tail. Again, you got the other guy who just passed me in the single track in front of me. We're going to be coming through this gravel section, up the grass, and again, I gain a little bit of time back on him, it seems, here in a second. Coming up this hill. So again, I think this is... Again, he's within striking distance. It feels okay distance. He's not running away like the other two guys did. Okay, and now you can see, I think Rob is caught up as well now. So now there's really a group of 3 of us. So going to need to play defensively here. Don't want them to pass me. Already, you know, in 4th place. Don't want to lose any more positions. Need to push a little harder. So all right, so we're coming through to the straightaway right before the start finish. We're going to do a hairpin turn to go through start and finish. Again, this is going to be the 3rd lap. It turns out this is the last lap. I thought we had 1 more to go. We all thought there was 1 more to go, it seemed. So not going to be a kind of an unfortunate end, I think, for all of us.
This last lap? I don't think so. Dude, you're not. Fucking cowbell, fuck with me.
Okay, we'll talk through that in a second, but alright, what you saw here is that Rob pushed past me. We also have the other guy who had passed me right in front of me. Alright, so I want to gain some positions back. I decided on this one not to jump off the bike. I'm just going to power through and try to save some time. And you can see that forced Rob to slow down, to have to go way high, and to you know, slow down and you know, take some time to get back on his bike. So I think it worked for me to decide not to jump off the bike and jump back on that time, to play, you know, go really defensive and kind of pin him up. And this guy, though, did get on his bike real fast. He ended up having a pretty clean run up and go. So didn't make up any positions on him, but he's, again, really close, within striking distance. And Rob's right back on my tail. You know, he obviously has the power to get back up and catch back up to me, but made him work. I think that was the right call to not jump off the bike that time. Coming up that second little hill, trying to push. Don't want Rob to pass me at all here. Got one junior rider here in front of me. Got to get around him. And again, the guy in front of me has gained a little more distance, it seems, but you know, not super far away. That's 3rd place up there. But all right, going back to that exchange earlier, you heard the bell as we came through. The problem is there's cowbells everywhere going off, and I didn't know that the bell really meant that it was the last lap. I obviously questioned it because that's usually what it means. I didn't see the lap counter. It was probably right there. I did not see it throughout the race. I don't know if there even was one. No one was indicating it. So I don't know if it's the last lap or not. I have no idea what lap we're on. I think there's 1 more to go. And so I'm kind of pacing it accordingly. You know, I want to make sure I have 1 more lap to catch the guys in front of me if I can. Or, you know, and also make sure Rob, you know, I don't care if Rob would pass me at the start-finish line this time in my head, because there's still 1 more to go. All right, coming through, again, now we're going to look at that line that I take. I'm going to take the far right line. You're going to see Rob. Oh! I think he took kind of a more middle line. He actually lost his traction and the bike went sideways there. So I'm going to gain some time here. Again, just another opportunity to a little bit to recover from me. Obviously, I don't see this as happening, so I'm just recovering, not knowing what's happening behind me, but just another spot where Rob has to work to catch back up to me. I'm going to pass one rider here. There's a lapped rider. Come through here, and we got that tiny little bridge. Just another spot where you don't want to mess this up. You don't want to slip and fall. So riding this ridge was really tricky. There's like the netting with the hay under it, and you really couldn't see what was happening. Kind of had to just kind of feel where the ridge was. Come down through the footbridge, pop up, make that turn, and now we're going to go back into the single track. See, Rob's still a decent bit behind me. So again, he's using up some energy to catch back up, which he's going to do here in the single track. Single track's a spot where he's not going to be able to pass me at all. So, I don't have to go super hard here. A little bit of recovery. And you can see as we go through the single track, just Rob's just slowly creeping back onto my back wheel. So, we're gonna come out of here. He's gonna be right there with me. No one else behind him though, as you can see. Can't see anybody in front of us. So some of those carrots are kind of gone now, but at least for now. But really also no one behind us. So it's kind of a two-person battle for fourth place at this point, is what it seems like. Through just one more little technical feature being the bridge that we have to pop up and over, and then we're out of the single track. Yeah, I ended up kind of pulling a little bit back further away from him. I wasn't going particularly hard. Again, maybe both of us are kind of using this as recovery. Before we get back out of the woods. Again, it was sort of a nice area. Again, easy, flat. You weren't going to be able to pass people really anyway. I guess the other guy did pass me in the single track, so that seems maybe not true. I wasn't thinking about people passing throughout that. So we're going to come through here, and we're going to have the barriers again. This is the one spot. Rob's a little newer, more new to cyclocross than even I am, so I think I have the advantage in my remounts on him. So just want to make sure I have a nice clean dismount remount. Run around. Jump back on and go. Maybe not my best, but again you can see that Rob has to stop to get back on his, so I'm going to gain a little bit there. We're onto the gravel. A couple of guys here in front of us, I think juniors or lapped riders. Gonna pass by them with with no incident. And coming around the corner here to the last kind of long straightaway. The last section. Oh, that was a little sketchy. As I'm passing, the junior jumped off his bike. Wasn't quite ready for that, but we were able to get around him with no issue. Again, going to pass another rider here, another junior. You can see Rob's right there. Coming now into the actual straightaway part of the last straightaway. Rob's right there. You can see I think the other riders are finishing right about now that I passed, that passed me, so second and third. We're going to come to this final corner. We're going to turn. Gonna hit it, and that's the end of the race. And the only reason I knew it was the end of the race was you could see that the two guys, so second and third place, weren't that far ahead of us. I think it was hard to see in this video. They weren't that. They're right there. Weren't that far ahead of us, and you could see after they crossed the finish line, they like ducked under the ribbon, and were clearly done. And so, as we were starting to cross the finish line, I went, "Oh no, this is clearly the end." Didn't have any time or any ability to put in a final sprint or anything or do anything with that information. It was just kind of barely processing it, but like just kind of right crossing the finish line, it's like, oh shit, if those guys are, that's clearly the end. And I had no idea where Rob was, if he was about to pass me at the finish line or not, but we just just a little unfortunate to say, oh, I guess that was the end. I think all of us, we heard the same things from the guys in front of us. Just like I thought it was supposed to be 4 laps. Like, that's the end. Just kind of confused. So not the way you want it to go. It's one of these things that, had I known that was the last lap for sure, I probably could have gone way harder in the last one and really buried myself. And maybe we catch up to the two guys, second and third place, because again they weren't that far ahead. But, you kind of play that through. If I knew it was the end, then, that means Rob knows and the two guys in front of us know. And then all of us are pushing way harder and it stays the exact same. So I don't think it played a role, to be quite honest. At the end of the day, I think it ended up exactly how it would have had we all known for sure that it was the last lap. But still unfortunate not to be able to pace yourself appropriately for where the end was. There was a cowbell. It was obvious that it was the last lap, but with all the other cowbells throughout the course, there's a lot of questions in my mind. I was still pacing for 4, and whatever. This was an awesome course. I really, really enjoyed it. Again, a little more to my ability, less technical than Crank Cross, not as big of a climb as Crank Cross. I really enjoyed this one. 4th place, 4th out of about 15. And so I think it puts me tied for 3rd or tied for 4th in the series now. Gonna have another race next weekend and hoping to get on the podium. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next race.